So updates on my pedagogical work at the university. The first program, which was called Profesional del siglo XXI, is done. It's, uh, as we say in French, c'est en la boîte. So it's done now. It's time for transferable skills, or what I think I will call this as competencias transversales del jurista moderno, which is something like transferable skills for the lawmaker, the modern lawmaker, and the modern law specialists. No, I think it's an interesting transition towards something more specific in which we are exploring the different skills that have to be developed by law specialists, future lawyers, and people working in notary and so on. And I think I found a set of skills that are, I think, very important and very needed. And I think that my students are the ones that are going to be working with these transferable skills in an innovative way. So that's why we discussed it. So we talked about digital skills like handling databases, like official databases, working with AI, and impact on the legal on legal stuff and on the legal field. Knowledge of cybersecurity and data protection, how to adapt to new tools, digital tools, in order to manage legal content, and the capacity to work in legal environments and virtual spaces. And then we had communicative skills, which are very, very important. I think it's one of the main things we worked, because we are working in Spanish classes. So effective communication, which is essential nowadays with language models. It's something that is crucial. We also talked about clear and precise communication in terms of oral communication and written communication. This is based, I mean, we have always worked on it, but now that with robots and AI is doing it also, we have to, give the human touch and be more precise about it. And also how to to persuade. And we this is a part that we discuss a lot, because we realize that in the legal field, at least, persuasion has a huge role. So we discuss different situations, and it's very cool. And we will continue developing these, and I'll try to make the link between persuasion in the legal field and beyond. So also adapting language, legal language, to different audiences. Since we are also talking about the digital environments, we also have to mention the creator economy that is coming soon, that is going to explode soon, and also the fact that, well, we are communicating virtually most of the time. So it implies different audiences, but also audiences can be like groups of students and clients and so on. Negotiation abilities, mediation abilities as well, skills that are essential to make things work among the people that we work for. Sorry. Intercultural, multicultural, multilingual communication, of course, especially for those working in the international fields and international law. So we also talked about critical thinking, analytical thinking, which is something that they usually do, but they do it mostly with French legal texts. Now we have to do this in a global way. Also, complex analysis of legal situations, which will be even worse in the future with all the laws that will be popping up everywhere. Also, the capacity for synthesis and abstraction, and we insisted on the fact that it has to be done to inform people about specific things, and like like even the human interpretation. But because the thing is that we are also facing the precision of language models, and I think that a human that is capable of precision adds a different nuance and adds a different interpretation, which can also be exact, but like this part of work, this human precision is essential. We need to develop that. So we talked about that. We talked about creative problem solving and adapting to new legal frameworks. Of course, we also talked about emotional intelligence. We talked about empathy, managing stress, pressure, self-knowledge, which is also that something that we worked the previous semester with the framework we built through the previous program, self-regulation as well, skills for team building and working in teams, but like very precise things like working with frameworks. That's something that, by the way, that I will be developing, because it's not simply about working in teams. It's also about creating a framework for the teams so they can work through that and make things easier. And of course, we talked a lot about management, organization, how to manage our time, strategic planning. And the strategic planning thing is something that I will be talking about with precise projects. So it's going to be cool. We also talked about, of course, adaptability, flexibility, and so on, because it's one of the essential things that we have to develop nowadays. For the number 6, we talked about ethical skills and social skills, which are going to be essential in a world where we need to trust the right people. Professional ethics in the digital era, um, being sensitive towards the diversity of mentalities, ideas, and new projects, because this was going to become rather weird with all the technology and the evolution of ideas. They need to be open-minded. So I insisted on that. And of course, a sense of justice, because if they work with laws, it is essential. Then for number 7, we talked about innovation and entrepreneurship, because well, the world is opening for entrepreneurs. So we talked about the importance of understanding this shift. And we also talked about innovative thinking, the capacity for entrepreneurship, adaptation to change, and how to develop a strategic vision. Of course, these were points that we didn't have the time to develop entirely fully, but we still mentioned them. And creative problem solving, of course, in terms of, when you want to innovate something, you want to innovate a specific field, well, you do it by creating innovative solutions. And finally, we talked about the skills that are required for in terms of research. So continuous research, like developing a sense of research that continues beyond the classroom and beyond the things they often do. So I think I will be doing that type of work to motivate my students to go look further. But the idea is that they have to go beyond the things that they usually do in order to look for information. uh, Advanced research skills, of course. I suppose that now with the new technological tools, it's kind of different and it's easier, but they still need to do it professionally. So I insisted on that. The analysis of legal trends and the creation of new laws and so on, how to analyze them, and the whys and the hows and so on. Constant updates, of course, in the use of resources and tools, methodological thoughts, and that's why I insist on frameworks myself. I am imposing this on myself, and I'm trying to motivate my students to do the same thing as well. So, methodological thinking, framework maxing. I think that's what I'm trying to get at. And finally, the capacity for documentation. I mean, to uh, find the right documents and know how to exploit them, and know how to classify them, and so on and so on. So that is basically what we developed today, and that is what we will be deploying all over the semester. But then the activities, I will talk about the activities later. For now, it's just that. And yeah, it was a great beginning for a new program, for a new program, a new semester. And I think it's a great follow-up for professional siglo XXI, which, by the way, I had some great well, people were actually glad that they did this work that way, and quite happy about it. And if you want to know more, stay tuned, because I will be providing this program uh, for free when I decide about the platforms that I will be using to share documents, and of course to make them available for your education, for your training, and for you to understand more about language and your relationship with language, which is very, very important. So that's all for today. Bye bye.